Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're running into our favorite video of each and every weekday, the player props video. Came out of last night on Tuesday night, 5-0 with our picks. So we'll be looking to stay super hot, well above 500 on the week and this calendar year since 2022. Do check out Nate's great article as well up on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. And like and subscribe to that page, as we do have a couple other game videos up for you on a pretty nice Wednesday night slate. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's play props. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, there are two games to really target tonight. Actually, maybe three games if you include the Blazers after they unloaded everybody. But there's some games with some really high totals tonight, and I'm targeting the Bulls and Hornets. As we know, the Bulls have been playing a ton of shootouts. Their total has crept all the way up to 237 right now. As they've gone over in 7 straight games. So I actually like the big man for Chicago. I know they have both Levine and DeRozan cooking, but I think the matchup is better for him against the Hornets, a Hornets team that gives up the most points per game and second most rebounds per game. 2 centers. Been a little bit better since they started playing Mason Plumlee a little bit more, but because they're playing at the fastest pace in home games and are dead last in offensive rating over their last 8 home games, they're giving up a ton of rebounds. In fact, the most rebounds per game at home. And Vooch has a solid 31% defensive rebounding rate. He averages 25.5 points and nearly 14 boards with 5 assists his last 5 against Charlotte. He averages 27.5 points and 14.5 boards his last 4 road games, as the Bulls, again, are just trying to get up and down and trade points with teams. You got to like him to get over 34.5 points and rebounds. It's slightly worse than even money at FanDuel, but I actually like the player performance doubles more if you're looking for a solid bet, because we think the Bulls are going to win. Charlotte has lost 5 straight and has not covered in 7 of their last 8 home games. So a double-double in a win is actually plus money. And Vooch, as I say, is clearing that double-double by a healthy margin recently. As plus 115 or 20 points in the win is plus 190. Against a team he averages 25 against, he put up 30, 14, and 5 with 13 boards just on defense the last time he faced Charlotte. So I think we'll see a repeat of that, where the pace is just such that Vooch is going to gobble up his boards and help you get over this total.
Yeah, there's a couple pretty good bets in there that you mentioned. I mean, the double-double in a win plus 114, I really, really like that one. I mean, his rebound prop sits at about, I believe, 10 boards tonight. So, even more, actually, about 13.5 boards. So, if you only need him to get 10 and get over 10 points, we do like the Bulls to win tonight. As you mentioned, Charlotte struggling and Gordon Hayward now out for a long time. So, that the win for Chicago feels good there. The 20 in a win is great, too, considering his points are at 20.5. And the points and rebounds I'm not scared about, to be honest, either. I just think you get a little bit better juice on the 20 in a W or the double-double in a win. Obviously, the spread not super high in a way that you feel great about Chicago winning. They haven't looked like the best team ever. But I do think that this is a little bit, as we mentioned in the game video, a big brother, little brother situation. And Vooch thrives playing against Charlotte as of, a good recent history. So next guy I'm coming up with, AD, another center for the Lakers there. He's at 22.5 points against a team, the Trailblazers, that we know has pretty much given up on the season. I will say Charlotte has done a good job this season at limiting opponents' offensive rebounds and rebounds in general. They're decent in terms of guarding the paint. Obviously, Nurk did a pretty good job so far this season, but not much to go against AD tonight. And he's averaging way more than those 22.5, especially in his last 5. Since he's come back and really upped his minutes in his last 5, he's at 27 points a game, 13 boards, and 3 assists in about 38 minutes per game. He's shooting about 58% from the field and 6 for 9 from free throw. He could get a couple more. He could improve that free throw shooting a little bit, but he's at least getting not those 9 free throw attempts a game, which is huge for him. It's indicative of how he's playing, and he's only shooting about 2 threes a game, if that, actually closer to about 1 3-point attempt a game. So we know he's actually going down low and trying to get his points closer to the basket. 26% usage rate, and relevant to those free throws, Portland does give up the 8th most free throw attempts a game. They're just really, really bad on defense. Obviously, they give up 112 a game, third worst defensive rating on the season, and the most points per game to opposing centers. I'm not scared of the points and rebounds, right now, because he needs about 9.5 boards, and I think that's very doable for him. Would also highly consider him to get that double-double in a win. That player performance double on FanDuel there is really nice for him as well. So, plus money for him to get that. I think the win is definitely coming for the Lakers tonight against this Portland team. And I think AD will have a big reason to do with that. So I'm not scared of any of his props tonight. 22.5 points does get you minus 116 on FanDuel, or, like I said, that double-double in a win for AD at about plus 110, plus money there. I also really, really like that.
Yeah, I love his points props, but I am scared of a double-double with Anthony Davis. He does not a routinely getting 10 boards type of guy. I mean, the logic is there with Portland having nothing on offense for sure, but I think it's more about the fact that he can just knife through and get his points on defense. And if you're looking for a player performance double, I would rather take 25 or 30 points for AD. We don't know if LeBron is going to play for sure here on a back-to-back, given how shorthanded Portland is, but AD has played in their last back-to-back. He's got 30 points twice on back-to-backs this year in 2 of the 3 he's played, and he averages 28.5 points. And he does average 11 rebounds per game his last 5 without Bron. But I'm just not going to count on him to get double-digit rebounds because he's just a below-average rebounder given his build, but a very much above-average scorer who just torched these Blazers for 30 points. And yeah, this scoring prop is way too low given how much he can score.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not scared of the boards is because of where he's been playing on the floor. Obviously, he's a lot more down low. He's not standing out on the wing anymore and trying to be stretched into that extent. So that would be indicative of the rebounds. But there's no point really in taking the rebounds with such a low total point prop at 22.5. You don't really need to add anything to that. He should easily get over that.
Yeah.
You're right there.
And a little tentative to go back to Lamelo here after we picked him against the Raptors. I really wanted to take the turnovers over. I will defend myself because I thought he was a lock for that along with some assists, but the matchup could not be any better tonight comparatively. Against the Bulls, who are giving up the most assists per game in their last 8 games, giving up the 8th most paint points over their last 8. Lamelo went for 18, 7, and 13 dimes when he played the Bulls in November. And now Lonzo Ball is out, along with Alex Caruso, along with Ayo Dosunmu. He's going to be going up against guys like Kobe White and Matt Thomas, who both have a individual defensive rating above 115. And he's going to be seeing more usage with Gordon Hayward out. In his last 5 without Gordo, he's averaging 27 points per game and 8.2 assists per game. His season average goes up from 18.5 to 25. His field goal percentage goes up without Gordo. Usage rate, obviously, the minutes per game. So I really like the assists per game, which was you were getting really short odds at over 7.5 assists. Now FanDuel's bumped it up to 8.5 assists, and you get plus odds. So like it a little bit more, actually. I think he can get double-digit assists in this game, and nearly even money for him to go over 22.5 points, which is a little tougher for LaMelo to count on. He's had these spike games where he scores a ton, but he also does a lot more, filling up the entire box score. So if you're feeling like you just want to put a little bet and hope for a big return, look at the triple-double for plus 750 at DK. These teams are going to be going up and down tonight. He's going to be rebounding. And I think, he's a good bet for double-digit assists. So that is my preferred bet, is to target his assists at 8.5 right now.
Yeah, but that triple-double doesn't really scare me. It's not a surprise at all it's obviously always scary to take a triple-double unless you're going for Nikola Jokic. But I would say it's still reasonable to expect that from him, in a game where Gordo's out. And like you said, there's going to be a ton of opportunity for rebounds and just a ton of possessions. That's what we're saying here. The pace is going to be so high. There's going to be opportunity for stats all over the place. We were originally thinking about, Scary Terry as a guy who, doesn't need anybody and would love to just go pull and get his when a guy like Gordon Hayward's out. He has more opportunity to up that usage rate up. But unsurprisingly, and some sort of based on what I said in the video of this game, Gordon Hayward plays point forward for this team. And when he plays point forward, that means guys like Scary Terry are running off of him. Lamelo is more sitting in the corner, and his stats clearly are going to be affected when Gordo's in the game. When he's not in the game, it's not even a little bit surprising to find out that his stats just skyrocket straight up, because the amount that he has the ball in his hands and where he's playing on the floor really helps him get up and down, get everything you need from him. I'm not really scared of any of the stats for him tonight. I do really like the assists as well, but I think I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on that triple-double myself and just try to get some plus 750 back on my money there. And so lastly here, after LaMelo going to another PG, actually taking on the Raptors as well, as we've mentioned, LaMelo did that the other night. Josh Giddey on the Thunder. It's time to talk about him. Honestly, at this point, he's been putting up decent stats all season, and definitely, been impressive in terms of being in like the top 5 in every pretty much relevant offensive category for rookies this season. Looking like he and probably Evan Mobley, right, for rookie of the year right now, because of the way Giddey's upped his stats a ton. In his last 5, he's up to 17 a game, 8 boards, and 6.5 assists. He cannot shoot. That should be clear. I mean, he's shooting 47% from the field, but 15% from 3, not even making 1 a game. But he is getting to the free throw line about 4 times a game, shooting 83%. Usage rate 26%, in those games, and 34 minutes. He's not coming out. It doesn't really matter what happens in these games. So it's nice to be able to take a guy. We mentioned that with guys like Franz Wagner on the Magic. He's not coming out, even if that game's a blowout. So it's the same concept for Giddey in a game tonight that, look, they're playing Toronto, who's been pretty good, but, I do, in their last 5, they're allowing the 5th most assists per game. And they are also forcing they're 10th in forcing turnovers, which I know is what we were talking about in regards to LaMelo getting turnovers against the Raptors. I think we can go back to the well on that for Giddey. Over 3.5 turnovers is plus 125. In his last 5, where he's got that huge usage rate, a ton of points and rebounds and assists, he's actually averaging about 4.5 turnovers a game as well. Not surprisingly for a rookie who's trying to do a lot right now for his team, and still getting used to that. So yeah, I think 22 turnovers in his last 5, is a good bet there with that plus money. I really like both. I like his points, rebounds, and assists. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists is minus 122 on FanDuel. He's averaging, 25 points and rebounds in his last 5, as I mentioned. So I'm not scared of that at all, as he's also on the season averaging 7 assists. So he should be able to get over that 25.5. And in the meantime, he'll probably turn the ball over at least 4 times. We can feel good about getting plus money back for betting on that as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see somebody turn it over 4 times in 6 of their last 7 games, and their minutes per game go up. But that is the culture in OKC. They have no problem with this guy, going right at defenses that force a lot of turnovers like Toronto, who will probably put him in some bad spots tonight. I feel better about the plus odds you get on those 4 turnovers than I do about him filling the stat sheet. But he fills the whole stat sheet, and that includes positive stats. And I do like the Thunder to cover 10 points at home, despite the fact that Toronto's been good lately. OKC is actually the second most profitable team against the spread this year, right? Because they're constantly getting undervalued. And so far, they have not done that massive tankathon that we saw last season. There's still time, but they've been competitive, and they're at home. I think Giddey will put up some numbers as they hang around in this game.
I 100% agree. I'm always scared to take him, but 10 points, as you mentioned, second most covers in the league. You either way, it spells some good stats for someone on OKC. And right now that someone has been Josh Giddey for sure. So that is all the time we have for you today as we look to stay cruising on these player props tonight. So until we see you next, happy betting.